Welcome to the Queen's Conversations podcast, the official podcast for United Kingdom LLC, hosted by Teddi Rene. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing today? Welcome to another episode of the Queen Conversations podcast. I am your host, Teddi Rene, and I'm just so excited for you guys today. I'm so happy that you are here because today's episode is our very first guest episode for season 2. And when I tell you it is an amazing episode, I'm not even over exaggerating. I am just being honest, okay? So, let's just get into it. Our guest today is Tonee Lawson. Tonee Lawson is a Washington, D.C. area native, but she has made Baltimore her home since her college years as a Towson Tiger, okay? She is a proud alumna of Towson University, graduated with a dual Bachelor of Science degree in molecular biology, biochemistry, bioinformatics, MB3. So y'all know she's super smart. Just off break, right? And biology. She also has a Master's of Science degree in Biotechnology. Tonee enjoys giving back to the community through her service with the Greater Baltimore Leadership Association and the Rho Xi Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. She is a founding member of Bmore R.I.S.E, a grassroots nonprofit established in 2016 to combine social engaging experiences with social impact to empower the Baltimore community. Professionally, Tonee is the founder and executive director of the Be Org, a youth development nonprofit whose mission is to encourage and nurture youth to live above their socially imposed limitations, to develop their character, talents, and leadership skills, allowing them to go beyond a dream and achieve remarkable excellence. Be recently celebrated its 5-year anniversary and continues to be a leading organization for youth development in Baltimore. Tonee consults in areas of social impact, corporate social responsibility, program design, and nonprofit event planning. Aside from her work in the community, Tonee is a social media influencer and a plus-size model. She has been seen on the runways of New York Fashion Week, Philadelphia Fashion Week, and featured in several local and international publications. Tonee was recently featured on the In Real Life segment of the Quicksilver Show for her impact on the community. She was also recognized by the Daily Record as a very important professional of VIP under 40. She is a 2018-2019 Johns Hopkins University Social Innovation Fellow and is developing a virtual reality curriculum for the social emotional learning in youth. She is a true servant leader and enjoys nothing more than sharing her time and talents with young people to help them reach their full potential. I am so excited for you all to hear the conversation that Tonee and I had and to just get into this. So I'm not going to drag it out anymore. I'm just going to let you guys get into season 2, episode 2, entitled Be More with Tonee Lawson. Are you ready? All right. So first, I just want to say thank you, Tonee, for agreeing to participate in this interview with me and to share your organization and your story with the United Kingdom community.
Sure. Glad to be here.
All right. So starting off, can you just give the audience some information, some background on who you are, where you're from, what your organization is, and what the purpose or mission and goal of it is?
Yeah, so my name is Tonee. I am the founder and executive director of the Be Org, which is a youth development nonprofit that primarily serves the Baltimore area. We focus on social and emotional learning development, enrichment programming, particularly in areas of STEM, as well as college and career readiness support. And so we have been around since 2014. So shout out to us for hitting that 5-year mark. Most nonprofits don't last 5 years, but we are very excited to be celebrating 5 years of service to the young people in the Baltimore community and serving nearly 400 youth.
Nice. Well, congratulations on 5 years. That is a major milestone, and all the hard work that goes into just starting a business and starting a nonprofit. Like, that's definitely something commendable. So congratulations on 5 years.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So a couple things about BORG that kind of intrigued me, and I wanted to know if you wanted to speak a little bit more on it. So you have like Be Virtual and Be College Ready, but then you have the piece of the social emotional learning. And I just wanted you to speak on why you thought that was important. Well, first of all, what that is and why you thought that was an important piece for your organization, something that you wanted to highlight.
Sure. So social and emotional learning in normal terms, right, is anything that we consider soft skills or life skills. So those non-technical skills that you use in everyday life, in your job, in the workplace, in relationships, anything from communication to knowing how to be self-aware, socially aware, team building, those type skills. So really in the workplace is what your employer will refer to them as soft skills. And the reason why I am so focused on developing young people in areas of social and emotional like learning and competencies is because so many employers say that their young employees or new employees where they are in the workplace for the first time, they just do not have those soft skills, those life skills to be successful in the workplace. They don't know how to work together as part of a team. They don't know how to communicate with upper management, or they don't even know how to communicate with their peers. And while they are so prepared in areas of like reading and writing and math, again, those technical skills, they are struggling in areas that help complete to get the job done.
Now, my next question is why did you think that BORG was something that was necessary? Like, what prompted you? I was listening to Unsolicited Views in your interview on there, and I heard your story about the young lady that you interacted with. But I wanted to know if you could share that, and then just why was BORG something that you just had to create?
So 5 years ago, there was a young lady, and just to keep the story really short, she wanted to be an actress. She was in middle school, and she was really struggling with the transition of middle school and just understanding her new environment and like trying to manage fitting in, but still engaging in academics and social life. And so I asked her if she had joined any new clubs, made any new friends, was she interested in anything at the school? And she just kind of blew me off like, no, whatever. And I said, well, you're really good at acting. You've always talked to us about wanting to be an actress, and you saw Jada Pinkett Smith and you were moved to tears. Like, you literally broke down crying because you couldn't believe that you met her. You put on plays for us all the time. What about joining the drama club at your school? And long story short, she just said, nobody in Baltimore ever makes it. And so I just felt so heartbroken that she would be completely like defeated, not by anything of her own will, but just by the circumstances of her environment. And so just to hear a young person just be so defeated and give up on their dreams before even getting started was heartbreaking to me. So that is pretty much the premise of what we started the BORG on.
Now, I was on the website, and there were different services and like groups, or I don't know, I guess I would say services, or how do you have them separated? So I don't want to use the wrong terminology, but different programs.
Yep, we have a couple of different programs. Anything that we do pretty much falls under enrichment programming, social and emotional learning development, or college and career readiness. And so our social and emotional learning development includes anything from like the lunch club, which is a program where college students work with young people during the lunchtime for kind of like a fun lunch and learn session, all hands on and focused on social and emotional learning. We also have an after school program to adults. We call it character education. And so where we have our enrichment teachers that come in to work with the students in that after school setting. That's primarily for for elementary students. We also have a girls empowerment academy that operates every other Saturday during the school year for middle school girls. We have another program it's a conference. Actually, we do 2 conferences each year, and that's the Beyond a Dream Youth Conference and TechCon. One focuses on career exploration and college readiness, and TechCon focuses on designing, building, coding, and competing drones and robots in one day. Our other program, bucket focus area would be the college readiness, and that's where our program Be College Ready comes in, where we provide volunteers to work with parents and individuals to walk them through the financial aid process, as well as helping them with college applications and essays.
Nice. All of that is absolutely something that it's absolutely necessary. So my grandma's family is all from Baltimore, and just listening to all the things that you're offering to these young students, it is absolutely something that I wish would have been available when we were younger. But I'm I'm really happy. And then listening to you talk about it just makes me happy. But just very, very happy that, the youth now have this, because even with me, I being from PG County, everyone's like, oh, it's the wealthiest African-American county in the country. But it's there are hoods in PG County. And when you grow up in the hood of PG County, you know that people are making it, but it's even in my family, my mom was a successful entrepreneur, but for whatever reason, it didn't click that I had access to everything I had access to, similar to the girl from your story. So I'm really excited that this is happening.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm from PG County as well. And so I guess I should have said this. PG is my home. Baltimore is my second home. And so I've made my way to Baltimore by way of Towson University and kind of just made my roots here my adult years. But growing up in PG, like you said, it's the wealthiest county in the country, and Black county in the country. And I had a little bit of a culture shock coming to Baltimore to see some of the young people that were struggling. And it broke my heart, because I know the level of support that I had growing up. And I know that my parents instilled in me, my family instilled in me that, you really can be and do whatever it is that you want to do. If I wanted to be the first Black woman astronaut, even though there's already been Black women in space, there's nothing that you could do to tell me that that's not possible, right? And so the young people in Baltimore, they don't feel that. They don't have that level of support, and that's something that I look to create for them.
Absolutely. 100%. I mean, and it's a similar reason, I didn't make the connection that, of course they say you can be everything, but it didn't really dawn on me until at 30, when my mom passed away. And I started coming across all these people who had so much at so young. And I was like, bro, I didn't know there were 25-year-olds with 800 credit scores. I thought that good credit was only something that, wealthy white people had. It was a myth for everyone else. So it's even as we get older, the resources and just that model is not there. So I'm just happy that, especially in Baltimore, there is now a model for more youth to see this and to aspire to it with some type of reality-based example for them. So I'm just excited. So as we're talking about giving back to the community, I saw on your website that BORG is a community sponsor for Giving Black Day. Could you give us some information on what exactly Giving Black Day is, and how you guys became a part of that, and just some more information for those of us who may not have as much information about it, or were just unaware of what it was?
Yeah, so Giving Black Day is a an initiative of the Young Black and Giving Back Institute, and it is on August 28th. So it takes place during Black Philanthropy Month. So most people don't even know that Black Philanthropy Month exists,
Nope.
but August is Black Philanthropy Month, right? And so Giving Black Day is just one day during Black Philanthropy Month, where Black benefiting and Black-led organizations come together to rally support of their communities, to continue to bring awareness and support to their cause, and to raise funds for their organizations. And so it is essentially a Giving Tuesday, right, for Black philanthropists in the Black community. There's a lot of significance to August 28th, so I love Young Black and Giving Black for doing this and taking this charge. On August 28th, it was the day that Dr. Martin Luther King delivered his I Had a Dream speech. It was also the day that President Barack Obama accepted the Democratic nomination. And it was also the day that Emmett Till was murdered. So in history, August 28th is a notable day in our community, and for them to shine the light on giving on Black organizations and Black nonprofits on this day, I just think is a monumental thing. So shout out to Young Black Giving Back for that. And we are proud to be one of the community partners for Young Black Giving Back in Baltimore for Giving Black Day. We'll be hosting a reception. We'll also be participating in a month-long online giving campaign during Black Philanthropy Month. And then on August 28th, we'll be celebrating with the reception, hopefully saying that we have met our fundraising goal. And we invite, anybody from the Black philanthropic community, anybody that is interested in learning how to make their Black dollar stretch in the philanthropic community, or just want to learn more about ways to engage with the B.org or other community organizations, there will be a reception for that day.
Nice. And where in Baltimore is this going to be held?
TBD. We are still confirming a location, but I will get that information to you very, very soon. So you can put it out for us.
All right. Not a problem. So in regards to B.org, what is the most needed resource for you guys to continue to support the community and the youth and to grow this out into what you expect and imagine it to be?
So at the top of the list is always resources, right? And so resources come by financial contributions, donations, in-kind donations, and then people resources as well. So we need volunteers, we need interns. And when I say volunteers, I mean one-time volunteers or people that want to serve in a leadership capacity. So we don't have many hands-on opportunities to engage with our youth. I'm really big on consistency and find that volunteers, because it's not a paid role, can sometimes be inconsistent with working hands-on with our youth. So we do have one-time volunteer opportunities by way of our conferences or large events. But our greatest need would be to add additional members to our board or to some of our planning committees. You can volunteer in those capacities, and we're always accepting donations. So people resources and money resources are our top needs.
All right. And where can anyone who's interested in participating or helping either financially or with their own time, what's the website or the location that they can go to start that process, or email address?
You can visit us online at www.thebeorg.com, and that's THEBEORG.com, or you can email us at thebeorg@gmail.com.
All right. The Sneaker Ball. Okay. So this is an event that I heard about it a couple of years ago, and then And I didn't even realize how many people that I know were involved with this until this year. And it seems like one of those places where it's like, if Teddi, if you don't get into this thing this year, then you should just give up in life. Cause it seems everyone who says that they have an amazing time, but then like, this is what kind of like what led me to looking into Bmore. Like, what is this? Like, why are they in these fancy dresses and wonderful tuxes and designer sneakers? So could you just talk about the sneaker ball, how it got started, and then what the purpose of it is?
Sure. So the sneaker ball, so we needed a 5-year gala, right? So nonprofits are responsible for one, securing grants, but also raising additional funds. And we have never done a large ticketed fundraiser before. And because the majority of individuals that engage with us are, millennials and of the younger professional age, we said, okay, we need a creative black tie. We're not doing the regular run-of-the-mill, stuffy gala. Like, it needs to be fun. It needs to be like hip and really cater to our audience. So I told my board I wanted a creative black tie. They came back and said, let's do sneaker ball. And that's kind of where sneaker ball was born. So like you said, sneaker ball, it was a black tie, but you had to come in sneakers. So that meant you need to be prepared to party all night and have a great time with us. And that's what everybody did. So it was a big hit. We were able to bring in some live artists, live entertainment. We had people that were painting shoes live. We had a photo booth, open bar, 250 people in the building. It was a great night. Sneaker Ball is happening again next year. We're looking at some dates in February. We don't want to conflict with CIAA, which is being held in Baltimore this year. So we're throwing around a couple options right now, but Sneaker Ball will be back in 2020. If anybody is interested in jumping on as a sponsor or connecting with our committee to possibly be on the planning committee or an ambassador this year, you can go ahead and forward us your email forward us your resume via email. So let us know how you would like to support.
Nice. So this year that it just happened was the first year of the sneaker ball.
It was the first year for sneaker ball in Baltimore, right? So there's a couple other sneaker balls that have popped up across the country. And I think Chicago, the Agora sneaker ball in Chicago may have been one of the first to do it on such a large scale. But in Baltimore, our sneaker ball was the first.
Okay, nice. So I didn't miss too much. Okay, cool.
Nope.
All right. So in addition to being the founder and executive director of Bmore, you also model, right?
I do. Yes, I do.
So how did you get started? Like people always seem to think that like, especially Black women, like even though they know we're amazing and fabulous and diverse, like in their minds, we're only this one thing always. So like, how did you go from like founding Bmore to help the youth of Baltimore to modeling and being super, super comfortable in your photos? Like I did it for a marketing shoot and I promise you, it was the hardest thing I'd ever had to do. And I did it with two people I've known for over a decade. Okay. So like, how did you
some getting used to?
Man, kudos to you for that. Cause it is being on the other side of the camera is uncomfortable. Like, so how did you get started? And then like, how do you get comfortable being in front of the camera with like all of that just focused on you?
So I'll say this, and this is for anything, almost any entrepreneurial journey, any title I've given myself, anything, it was because other people saw something in me first, right? And so that's why I am so big on like breathing life into your friends and complimenting your friends and telling them how amazing they are at just the littlest things, because you never know how far one compliment or one, accolade that you give someone, how far it will go. So me founding the Bmore, yeah, I was good at community and I was good at organizing and bringing people together to do community work, but I never thought that, oh yeah, I can found my own or I can run my own nonprofit until someone saw that skill in me and told me you will be an amazing person to do this, right? And the same thing goes for modeling. I never thought once like, oh, Tonee, you could be this, you could really be a model. Like you could be on the cover of a magazine, or you could be walking the runways of New York Fashion Week. I had no idea. It was someone who saw something in me and continued to breathe life and love into me that made me feel like, oh yeah, maybe this is something I should explore. This is something that, I could pursue. Like I thought it was pretty, but I never thought that I was like, model pretty, even though anybody can model, right? Everyone's pretty in their own right. I just never thought, it was never something that crossed my mind. So somebody saw something in me again, and I was like, okay, let me just try it. So I went to a casting call. I got selected. I was like, oh, maybe there is something there. Maybe I should dig a little deeper and invest a little more time into this. And I did. And so that's kind of how my modeling career evolved. I had an agency that was in New York, one of the smaller boutique agencies I worked with for a couple of years. Like I said, I was featured in a couple of magazines. I've done New York Fashion Week. I've done Philly Fashion Week. I've done shows in DC. I've done shows for Lord & Taylor. Probably one of the most funnest things I've done was being featured on a public health campaign with DC Department of Health. And it was, most of the ads went up on Metro buses or Metro stops. So a lot of my family and friends had no idea that I did it. And so they were sending me pictures when the bus came out, and they started seeing the large billboard advertisements like, is this you? I was like, oh yeah, by the way, I did this modeling thing. So never underestimate how far a compliment can go to your friends, because it really could change the trajectory of their career.
Nice. That is, I like hearing people say stuff like that, because if you let social media tell it, like, you're supposed to just be born with this confidence and just knowing, and everybody who's ever done it just knew from the day they were born, and this is what they were supposed to do. So like, I'm happy that you said, someone else told me you should try it, and I gave it a try, and now I'm successful at it, because sometimes it does take someone else pointing things out to us before we can even see it for ourselves.
Yeah, it does. I mean, and it never crossed my mind. And it's something that it still takes a lot of getting used to see yourself, transform after, from photo shoots to hair and makeup, and then like, oh wow, this is really me. This is really my picture. It's amazing. It's really it's an art. Like you said, it's something that you have to get comfortable. You have to get comfortable in. I've done swimwear, I've done lingerie, and I've done office wear and suits. But it's something that always takes a little getting used to. You have to connect with your photographer and be comfortable in knowing that your body is going to be plastered all over, social media, or possibly in print or in TV. So it's something that you have to really have a lot of self-confidence and know your self-worth going into, because it's a dog-eat-dog industry. And if you don't know yourself before going into it, they will chew you up and spit you out. So just always focusing on that self-love and knowing who you are, and knowing that everything isn't for everybody, just like every agency, every opportunity, every company isn't for everybody, but there is a niche for you at some point. And once you find your niche, you'll be fine.
Nice. Now, you said that modeling wasn't something that you even considered, but what were your career plans when you were either like on your way to Towson or on your way out of Towson? Like, what were your career goals? What did you want to be? What did you major in?
Yeah, so I wanted to be a doctor. Being a doctor turned into being a physician assistant. And I applied one round to PA school, and I did not get in, and I was defeated, right? And so I never realized that most people apply more than once or twice or whatever to get into, those professional schools, and no one told me. So I was like, well, I didn't get in, so I guess I need to try plan B, plan C, plan D, or whatever. And so that is almost, if I had any regrets, which is not even a regret really, because I'm truly grateful for the way my career has taken shape and the experiences that I've had. But I still kind of wanted to try my hand at the medical industry. And so that was my plan going into college. And so one of the reasons why some of the feedback from my applications was that I didn't have enough patient care, hands-on patient care experience. And so I'm like, how do I get these high scores of patient care experience without having to be a nurse or going to another career to be a PA first? And so I should have found a mentor or, someone that was in that industry to kind of guide me, because I was blind and literally had no idea what I was doing. So that was my plan, like going into it and after graduation, but it didn't happen, and it's cool. So after graduating, I went to work for a pharmaceutical company. And I hated it. Science has always been my love. My major in undergrad was molecular biology, biochemistry, bioinformatics, which is a mouthful with the double in just straight biology. So I love science. I'm still like a science nerd at heart. Anytime I get to add science or STEM enrichment into our programming, it like brings me joy. But I work for a pharmaceutical company straight out of college, and it was the worst experience of my life. They treated kids out of college horribly. They treated us like we were just disposable. And I was working in a lab environment. I was fine at doing my job, but it was just me and whatever I was working on. I had no human interaction, and it quickly got boring, coupled with just horrible working environment and horrible management. I just couldn't do it. So I moved on to what made me money. I got a job with Baltimore County Department of Aging and kind of just fell into human services ever since then. I got my master's in biotechnology because around the time of when I graduated, that's when the economy crashed and everything was going on. The government was on a hiring freeze. So I wanted to go into regulatory science, like possibly working in for the FDA or NIH and just working on the policy and regulation side of science. And so I pursued my master's in biotechnology with a concentration in management. But again, the economy was so mad, there was literally no jobs on USA jobs.gov, like nothing at all. All the career internships were frozen. Everything was on hold. So my career just kind of evolved again with the Department of Aging into human services and program development, community engagement, and program management. So I quickly, I found myself managing teams and managing people really, really early on in my career. I was always the youngest and one of few Blacks and one of few Black women to lead departments and lead teams. And that's kind of how my career has taken shape since then.
So with everything that you've done from B.org to modeling to, your initial pursuits into the medical industry, was there or is there a time that sticks out the most where you were kind of in your own way or in your own head and kind of restricting yourself from progress? And then if so, how did you overcome that? And then how did you apply that to your future goals?
I guess when you work for yourself, you have to be completely you have to be disciplined, and you have to have a drive like no other, because the money doesn't come in the beginning, but it comes eventually as long as you are consistent at developing your craft and consistent at improving your business and developing your business. And so just to get out of my own way, I would say not procrastinating and not being stuck on perfect, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, down to every detail. And sometimes you just have to do it. You just have to take the first step and do it and see where you go, and trust that your path is already laid for you, and that as long as you are consistent and diligent with developing your craft and developing your business, things will eventually fall into place. Like not procrastinating, just being very disciplined is probably the biggest skill that I've had to develop. And knowing that, opportunities come to once you put the work in, but without putting the work in, you have nothing to show for yourself. The ideas that are just in your head will only lie in your head if you don't put the work in to get them out so the world can see it. Once the world can see it, people latch onto it, organizations latch onto it, people want to be a part of it, but you have to do the work.
You have literally just said my favorite word, and procrastination. Like, I love the word and I loathe the word, because it literally is the thing that keeps so many amazing people from doing amazing things. And it bothers me to my soul, like trying to help people through it who haven't reached that like aha point in their life where they realize like, okay, seriously, nothing's going to change until I just do something. But that is definitely one of the things that it keeps a lot of people from like you said, like their path that's already laid out. So thank you for saying that, because maybe someone will hear this and be like, all right, it's not just Teddi. She's not just yelling at me about procrastination again. Like, this is legitimately something that, we all need to work on.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it really is, because like sometimes it's a bit of an adrenaline rush, and I'm still guilty for it because a lot of people perform under pressure, but like sometimes pressure does bust pipes, and like too much will stress you out, right? So you have to learn to manage your time appropriately so that you can give yourself enough time to like write and revise and look over things and like create and go back and iterate and create again and go back and refine. Like it really is a process when you're starting from scratch. And for people who like to get stuck in the details, you have to give yourself that time to be stuck in the details. But you can't procrastinate. You can't do that if you procrastinate down to the last minute. That's just really speaking from experience.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, experience is the thing. Like, when I changed careers 3 years ago, and it was me realizing that nothing was going to happen and nothing that I wanted was going to come to me until I did something that made me like actually start researching procrastination. So like, my bachelor's is in psychology, but I've always been in like behavior analysis or applied behavior analysis and behavior modification. So it's like, I've always been focused on like why we do the things we do and why we make the decisions we make. But then I was like, I've been holding on to this 50 pounds my entire life. Like, why is it that I cannot get to the gym, even though I have the resources and I really, really want to? So procrastination is something that I wish a lot more people would say as a negative, as opposed to like, oh yeah, I'm great at, like, I'm just good at it. Like, I can wait till the last minute and still get A. Like, that's great. Like, that you got a B and you pass. But imagine if you put in more time and took your time, like how much happier you would be, or how less grumpy you would be because you're stressed out. And, maybe that B- would have been an A+. Mm-hmm. Give yourself the best chance to be the best. But that I could talk about procrastination all day, and I have. But yeah, so with everything and all of your experience, are there any opportunities, or do you provide any mentorship services or events or programming for those who are aspiring to found nonprofit organizations or to get into similar industry, or just any advice or any opportunities for like coaching or mentoring for adults? Do you offer that or no?
So I am, people ask me this all the time. I honestly don't have the capacity or the time to mentor, but I do consult, right? And so ToneeLawson.com is coming very, very soon, which will list out my full consulting services. I am consulting on 2 projects right now, and particularly I assist people with communication strategies, program development for nonprofits, and then event strategy, not just for nonprofits, but anybody that's looking to make a social impact. And so like I said, I am available to consult. I would love to be able to mentor. I just honestly don't have the capacity. If you follow me though on Instagram, I am going to start dropping more tools in doing some lives to cover some of the questions that people ask me on a regular basis. That's probably as close as like mentoring as I'll get. But I learned this information over time and, following other people and talking to other people. So I think one way that I can give that information back is through social media. But ultimately, I don't have the capacity for conversations like, hey, let me pick your brain on. And so now I do have to charge a consultant fee for that.
I'm all for it. Charge them what you're worth at tax, double it, and then tell them you want it all up front.
Yeah, like I like sometimes I feel bad, but then I don't feel bad because, I'm an entrepreneur and this is how, I pay my bills. And at some point, like I had to do the research. I had to learn. I have years of experience behind me. And so people have to pay for that. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I can give away some free tidbits of information because I do believe in helping other people. But like the real strategy sessions and helping people develop plans, those come with consulting.
Absolutely. And do not feel a lot of people like I do the same thing. Like I've given away so many consulting hours and services to the point where like my therapist was like, bruh, like I'm gonna need you to stop. Like there's no reason why you should be trying to figure out how you're gonna go do this extra thing you want to do when you're giving away all of this free nuggets, gems, and then some. Like it's okay to be, charitable with your knowledge. However, use your gifts to take care of you and your family and to grow. So it's like, yeah, you're right. It's so, yes. Yeah. Happy to hear. So my last question is, do you have any plans for taking Borg outside of the Baltimore community, or is this where it's going to sit and stay? Or like, are there any plans for going to different cities or anything like that at all?
Yeah, so ultimately the goal is to expand beyond Baltimore. The next place that I could see as programming would be, of course, PG in DC. I cannot, start an organization and then not go back and serve my hometown. So we'll be expanding to PG in DC. Within the next year. We've had some conversations with schools down there to possibly deliver services, but it's a capacity thing, right? I'm a little nervous because I can't be everywhere, and I have to learn to be able to be comfortable in those that I've entrusted to my team to do so. And so we are continuously adding new members to our team. And so we're just not there yet, right? But we'll be there very, very soon to serve those young people. But PG and DC up next, and then possibly taking TechCon and the Beyond a Dream Youth Conference on the road in 2020. So stay tuned for that.
Nice. Very, very happy to hear that you are planning to bring it back to, well, I'm not in PG right now. I'm in Charles County. I moved to Wakanda, but still back to PG. But again, thank you for taking your time and speaking on all of this and answering my questions and just sharing all of your experience and nuggets and your story with the audience. This is, like I said, I'm super excited, and I 100% believe in like alignment and the universe working to make everything, and everyone the highest possible greatness that we all can be. And I think that, if you will allow me to, I will help Borg as much as I can in any capacity. I will sing the praises to everyone. Like this is something that is very exciting to me. So thank you for starting this, for putting your energy, your time and your life into this, and then just for sharing all of this with me today.
Sure. I appreciate the opportunity to connect with the Queendom. So thank you.
You're welcome. Now, one last thing, though. How can listeners find you on social media? We have thebeorg.com for the website. What are your social media handles? Like, how can people find you and Borg?
Sure. So you can find the Borg on Instagram and Facebook at the Borg. So that's THEBEORG. And then if you want to connect with me, I am Tonee Lawson. Oh yeah, find me on Instagram, Tonee Law, TONEELAW, and Tonee Lawson on Facebook and ToneeLawson.com.
Nice. Thank you again, Tonee.
Thank you.
Didn't I tell you guys that this was an amazing interview, right? So I hope that you all are inspired. As Tonee said, they are in need of volunteers for volunteering time. They are in need of donations to help support their programming and their staffing and all of their other needs to help Borg not only continue to provide services for the Baltimore youth, but also to help them expand. We absolutely want to see them come down the Beltway into the PG County and Washington, D.C. area with all of the great things that they are doing. So please, if you can give. All right. Again, you can find out more information on the Borg at the Borg on Instagram and also www.theborg.com. You can find Tonee on Instagram at Tonee Law, Tonee, and also at www.ToneeLawson.com.